when push comes to shove. And I thought about time and passion and how they're proportionately inverse. And I thought about the pact we made and how we're going to break that curse. How we'd never get too familiar, how we'd keep love fresh and new. How we'd sink our fangs into the pie of life and watch each other chew. And if the juices of that spicy pie were to dribble down our chin, then our eager fingers would wipe it off and we'd lick it all back in. You know, we'd learn to dance and sing, write poetry, do things couples do. And I was still keen to go to the footy with my mates, but that was something we worked through. She finished off my bacon and in my hand dispensed the rind. She turned to me, let out a belch and said, "You know, I find these poets, they're so sexy, the way they bend and shape the verse. If I was stuck on a deserted island with one, well, you know, I could do worse." "And you could do worse," she said to me, "is a way to spend your time, by moulding some words into sentences and then trying to make them rhyme. In fact, if you could write down some tender words that you'd be willing to recite at the Poet's Brekkie at Fairbridge next year, then you'll earn yourself the right to lay with me at any time. I'll be at your command. You can do with me whatever you want. I will not raise a hand." She swooned at me with her red-rimmed lids and then a heavy seductive wink. The blood drained from my extremities. I couldn't barely think. By the tone of which she spoke, I knew, do not procrastinate. A dirty big slice of that pie of life was being offered up on a plate. And this was also a test of our marriage pact and me. Was I a man of sound repute? Or were all my promises just hollow words? Was I no more than tall, dark and cute? Nay, I'll take the bit between the teeth and give creative thought full rein. And words will fall like droplets against an English window pane. And I'll form them into clever verse and witty repartee. And I'll prove to my darling beloved I have not become jaded by matrimony. And I'll fearlessly stride onto the stage and I'll go about my work. And a hush will fall upon the crowd and when I end I'll go berserk. And the twinkle in my beloved's eye will be so shining bright. And I'll leave it to your imagination how she'll show her thanks that night. And so before the enormity of the situation had registered on my scone, I fixed her with a steely gaze and I replied to her, "You're on." But the reality is, 12 months ago, when we left here and went back to the tent, I had a beer, I laid on the bed, and off to La La Land I went. And when I was awoken a couple of hours later by a footy to the head, I'd forgotten about the events of the morning and of everything I'd said. And I haven't given it another thought till last week, driving home. The wife, out of the blue, she says, "Oh babe, I'm hanging for that poem. Fairbridge is on next weekend. I long to hear your romantic ode." I almost had a bloody fit and drove right off the road. "And how have you kept it secret from me? You are such a sexy beast. This is so important to me. I'm preparing for the feast." In my best seductive French, I said, "Patience, mon petit Germain." You can, you can forget about a famine, I thought. Forget about a feast, I thought. I'm staring at a famine, so. I haven't got time to scratch myself, let alone sit down and write. Oh, you could blame some dodgy Krishna food and shoot through a Saturday night. Then I thought, what are you? Come on, do the marriage proud. Just jump on stage like all this mob and say anything out loud. It's not as if the eclectic crowd that's in is going to be hard to impress. They've all just got up early to use the dunnies first and to get away from the mess. So here I am, standing before you, embarrassed, resplendent with my scarlet bonce. And I'm trying very hard to give my darling wife everything that she wants. But I'm sorry to say I'm stuck for words. I cannot come up with one idea. So I'll go away and I'll have a think and I'll have a crack next year.